I'm gonna use that doop-a-doop-a-doop
Doop, doop,
sound
doop,
audio
doop.
file.
Oh, look at it. Doop, doop.
I see. I know. I can see it. I can see it on mine too.
Mine's bigger.
Stop.
Woo!
What's going on, everybody? My name is Josh.Killian, and today I'm joined with
Gunnar.davis.
and this is the Trident Talk. Today we've got a pretty fantastic episode. We've been looking forward to it ever since last week, since we posted, since Mike and Gunnar actually posted the video about budgeting and the 70-20-10 rule, which is a very interesting rule because we're actually going to reflect on that a little bit back today. The 70-20-10 rule.
I know. I was trying to think. I was like, I don't know how to think.
Yeah, but we foreshadowed a little bit that we were going to be talking about the differences between saving and investing, because not a lot of people actually invest. Some people actually invest and don't save at all. Some people save, don't invest at all. So we wanted to kind of make some examples today and let you guys know the differences so that you can figure out what's best with your situation and which ones you should do. So if you look up Google, because Google University is the best place. I want to get a hat that says Google University on it.
You know what? I read on Google that what was it? Something about Abraham Lincoln and vampires. He used to kill them. Did you know that? Google told me.
Isn't that a myth?
No, it's Google. Google's never wrong. Google said has a picture of George Washington riding a raptor.
I used to have that as my screensaver in high school. Not on my phone, but I used to put it on the desktops. There was a bunch of, I think there was one of like JFK riding a cyborg bear or something as well. I used to post those on the desktops in high school whenever I'd go to the computer lab or something.
See,
Do they even have those anymore? Everyone brings their own tablet.
Yeah, no, I think my sister's computer lab in the school I went to is no longer a computer lab. They have the little carts that have like all the technology or whatever.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, everyone's from home now, but
yeah.
And if you're from home now and you're on a laptop, probably have YouTube open in a different tab listening to us, right? You're going to be hearing about investing and saving today. So if you look up Google and you get the raptor picture of JFK and everything out of the way, and you see the definition
George Washington.
of George Washington, whomever, whatever, investing and saving. So investing is the idea of spending your money as opposed to holding on to it in hopes that at a later date you will actually get a higher profitable margin than you started with once you gave it out. So whether that's through stocks, shares, if you're buying property, assets that you're trying to hopefully have some passive income come in, bonds, CDs, anything like that, instead of holding on to your money close at hand, you're actually giving it away in hopes that you're going to have a higher return of value. So in retrospect, saving is the exact opposite.
That was a lot of big words you just said.
Oh, sorry. So pretty much what it means is... Sorry, what do you mean?
No, you condensed it. It was just like when you're saying like examples, I was like, those are big words.
Those are big words. So yeah, anything that you're spending your money on in hopes that you're going to give it back. So if you're buying a chocolate bar for $1 and then you sell it for $3, you're investing. So that's an example. That's
some cheap.
That's a lemonade stand, man. A lemonade stand is an investment property.
Yeah, but that's when I want to help the children. If someone goes like if a 20-year-old goes, buys a candy bar and sells it for $3, it just makes me feel dumb.
So, what, for buying it?
Yeah.
Well, someone bought it. That's how the world works, baby. But in retrospect, saving is holding on to your money. So instead of spending it, instead of dishing it out there and hoping that you're going to get something in return, you hold on to it. And you have it manageable, you have it around so that it can be managed. So it's not little to zero risk is involved when it comes to saving, because you know exactly where that money is and when you're going to spend it, whether that's on expenses or up until you invest it is considered saving.
And how much is going to be in it. So
exactly.
Like if you put $20 in, it's not going to change.
Yeah. And so we wanted to break down some, not only examples, but some ways that some people could say, well, what's better? Investing does it have to be for 5, 10 years or more even. Some people think investing is something that you start at 25, 30. Some people think that investing is something that you start like for your retirement, like part of your job, like a 401k plan. like, yes, that's technically like a Roth IRA type of investment that could possibly come with your job, but some people think that that's something you can't even start till after you graduate, until after.
Yeah, that's what people take investing. I think, like, when I used to think investing when I was younger, it was like retirement. That's what
exactly.
it was going
like you
for.
do it out there, you do it in your later years and stuff like that, when in all actuality it's stuff that you can do to help those years age better is what I would say. I was going to say age more gooder.
Age more goodest.
Age more goodest. But we've got some examples today. So we really think that when it comes to saving, it's really good for short-term goals. At least, if you're saving up for, a car, like I know I just recently got a car and stuff like that, it was only a few months that I had to save up that money. So that's not something that I would consider, and I had to invest, into, like, yes, I invested in the car with the money, but I saved the money to get that. So I had it on hand. I knew how much I was holding on hand so that I could eventually put down payment on that car.
So going into looking at some stats for savings, we're going to say, because we talked about interest a lot in past videos, so I wanted to bring it back up with a savings account specifically. So on average, it is said that you get 0.08% back interest from your savings account. It's pretty insane. Yeah, it's pretty small. I'm not saying like 0.08 as in move that decimal over and you get 8%. I'm saying 0.08%. And then
I think my bank I get like 0.065 or something ridiculously small.
Yeah, mine's really small. Sometimes I just see that 1 cent get added and it says interest, like, woo!
once every 5 years you get that 2 cent increase.
Yeah, well, what am I gonna spend that cent on that I just got?
You can't even get a gumball for that.
Yeah, and then it's even like it says even big banks can go down to even 0.01%. Like what? So
literally a penny on every dollar.
That's not investing. Don't think that's investing. Not investing at all.
Doing exactly what we just said. Keeping your money on hand and knowing where it is so that it's manageable and it's accessible right then and there.
So whenever that kind of leads to the next point, because we're saying that saving is for short-term goals in which you need to know your goals for when you have a savings account. So like let's say you're wanting a new bike or you're wanting a new laptop or even a car. You need to save gradually to get to that point. That's what a savings account is for, so you can make sure you can get to your goals and actually meet them. But at least if you're going to have a savings account, at least have $500 to $1,000 in it. Why am I saying this? It's because we've talked about it in past episodes that people in America just don't save their money, and I'm about to tell you some stats that prove that that's true. So a whopping 70% of Americans have less than $1,000 in a savings account. So how we are always talking about most Americans can't afford to pay a $500 expense fee as a surprise, I guess. That's insane to me. That just makes me feel like every time we talk about it, I'm just like,
you start actually sweating because you would think, well, maybe if they don't have that $1,000 around, it's because they're investing it. Well, clearly, if you look around, that's not the case at all. So you can tell that just by, I think I saw a stat I think there's like 700 billionaires in America or something like that, like less than 1,000 people, and like 1%. I forgot the stats, so I'm not going to say it clearly or whatever, but it surprised me because it was like, not that we're living in poverty, like there's like a growing middle class or whatever, but we're still relatively living paycheck to paycheck. So,
which I just can't, like, that just kills me. Like,
yeah, it's definitely something that's scary. It's definitely something scary. So saving in short term can definitely help you not only breach that $1,000 mark so that you would be, in the top % of Americans that have that extra money available and on hand when ready, but it would also be able to set you up financially so you won't be as anxious, because I'm sure, living to paycheck to paycheck,
that's just, it's
worrying.
Some people are okay with it, but I couldn't. And you can just, let's say you open a savings account and you put $1 in it. You're better. I shouldn't use better. You are. What's a better word than better? You're a step further than, well off than 45% of Americans, because 45% of Americans have nothing in a savings account. Nothing. Just now I can like even like $20. Like, how do you not have like something like? I mean, my bank requires you have, I think it's 300 to have in the savings account to have it open.
To have it open. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's some people like that's obviously that takes a little bit, but obviously you just save, like put it in your wallet, purse, something, and then until you get that $300, be like, okay, finally. And then as you were, yeah, exactly. And as you were before, getting ready to put in savings account, just put that little bit amount, even if it's like $10, $20 a week, a month, that's still growing you up to something. And that's just in case if an emergency happens, because we all know emergencies happen. So I mean, it's just that's my rant for it. I would just say, if I were to say my 2 cents for savings and versus investing, you can invest more than savings, but I would at least have that emergency money in your savings, like 500, 1,000, just in case. And obviously you can invest while, and we'll talk the reasons why
definitely.
it's important to invest, but
You're out here caring about everybody.
I'm trying to care. I'm doing my.
You're out here caring about everybody, man.
I'm trying to be my parent self.
Trying to make them well off. Yeah. So short-term goals would be saving would be the best route to go forward with, a short-term goal, because ultimately we're trying to help you reach your financial goals the most efficient way as possible. And I'm not going to lie to you in saying that investments do come with some risk, which is why longer periods of time is greater, because usually in hopes that risk dwindles, over time as that portfolio progressively continues to have more and more income come in, it becomes more and more profitable. So a year or less would be a fantastic time to save up your money, because then you can get that short-term goal out of the way. That small staycation, maybe, weekend trip with your friends, that car that you want to buy outright, that's fantastic. Anything over a year, though, you would more than likely want to consider investing. So investing would be anything that's good for retirement. Maybe you have, an out-of-country trip, something that costs a little bit more. That's not something that you just want to, grab some money, throw off to the side. You want to maybe, to help you reach that goal better, you're going to want to invest in some stocks, maybe invest into some bonds, invest into some CDs, something that's going to produce profitable passive income investing, so that not only can you reach that goal quicker, but maybe you'll have a little bit of extra money after, because once you invest that money and then you're like, okay, well, let's say I want to invest the same amount of money that it would cost to go on this trip. And then 3 years later, you sell the same amount of money, but now the price has gone up 15%, and clearly, after a lot of the podcasts that we've had in the past, especially like the past month when we did the yearly wrap-up stats of the year, like we talked about, like if you're selling your house, it was already up like 16% appreciation by itself, but then it's selling for 20% more than that already within a year. So if you can imagine that, and let's say you're planning a trip 2 or 3 years out, how much that investment is going to just compound in size, it's ridiculous.
Just insane. You get the vacation and probably plus more.
Oh, definitely.
So I mean, obviously there's dips too, but it goes up on average how much every year?
The stock market?
Yeah.
It's like 8 to 12%.
So that's pretty good. Better than a 0.08%.
Better than a penny on every $100 that you put into your, what would that be, 10 cents on $100, and it would be a penny on $1?
Yeah, probably. I mean,
either way,
and that's
pretty bad.
Saying in like a year, probably waiting.
Exactly.
You're like, let's see, after a year having it go. Boop.
Either way, pretty bad. So if you have a short-term goal, it would be more than likely the best option to hold on to your money within that short term, a few months, a few weeks, be able to dish that money out when you need it, get that short-term goal accomplished, and move on to the next one. If you're looking for something, larger, something that's 5, 6, even like 2, 3 years out would still be considered a long goal, because a lot can happen in that time.
Definitely.
When it comes to investments.
Yep. Sure can.
I know we talked a lot, you and Mike talked a lot last episode as well during the 70-20-10 rule, that this also varies person to person as well. So we're not saying every extra dollar that you have to either, you're going to invest it. Or every extra dollar you have, you're going to throw it into your savings account.
Right.
Every individual is different. And so we can only, just like Gunnar and myself are only speaking in terms of, our experience, who we've worked with in the past, what we've seen to have successful pathways. We can only work with what we have, and so your situation is going to vary. So if that means 1 week goes by, 2 weeks, even a month goes by, you have to save all of your money because a short-term goal came up. Maybe your dishwasher broke. You're talking about something like that. We understand that. So investing's not going to be the best option right now.
Right.
But maybe, you're working on yourself. You've got a plan for 2-3 years down the line. You're going to be pretty stationary. Nothing really big is going on. Investing would probably put you better off with a better way of life without you even realizing it. really realizing that you're really realizing it. In 3 years, you'd just be more well off than you were, and you probably wouldn't even realize it because you've set those foundations up, 3 years ahead of time to make yourself more well off in the future.
And that's why we kind of gave the 7-20-10 rule, because
exactly.
You can just start off there. That's a good place to start off. I mean, 20% of your savings will get you to that 500 to 1,000 pretty quick, and then that quick. 10% in the investing, that's enough to get your foot in the door, kind of start learning how it works, because it takes some time to understand how it all works, because it seems like a lot, and that's why most people don't do it. Cause
definitely a learning curve, an experimental curve.
It's kind of scary to new people, but you just gotta, like you said, a learning curve. You just gotta do it to actually learn it. So, just the 7-20-10, and obviously, people can go around it. So, if you want to invest more, put more in investing. Like, personally, if I put a certain amount of savings, I put the same amount in investing, just because that's my personal goals in life. That's what I like doing. I mean, I feel you're more of an investor, right?
Yeah, I put a little bit more into investing than my savings, but that's just something that I like to do and fits, my budget, every dollar that I get. It just kind of fits my lifestyle better. So that's what I do. So that's why we wanted to break these down for you today. So thank you for joining us. Today we wanted to just break that down for you because last week Mike and Gunnar did tackle the 70-20-10 rule. So if you haven't seen that video, you're definitely going to want to check it out because this can tie into a lot of that budgeting process. And budgeting is extremely important, as we saw last week. And, a lot of you not only were asking us questions for that in between podcast episodes, but we do understand that we need to tackle some of these smaller subjects as well so that it can be broken down because some people just kind of throw it out there or don't even say anything that's going to help you. We truly want to help you guys. That's why we're here. So we thank you for submitting your questions and thank you for engaging on our post because this is truly what does make us special.
And we want to help everyone get to on the road to success.
On the road to success. I like that. Anything else you wanted to say before closing, Gunnar?
Nope, I think we can just end on that.
Wish them well off, buddy.
Yeah, we're gonna we're gonna push you on that road to success,
even if we have to push you straight up and make you trip and faceplant. We'll
get you back up and get you going.
I guess we'll get. That's a threat. That sounded like a threat.
It's not a threat. It's just an accidental issue.
An accidental push. Okay, I like that.
Well, it wasn't accidental, but
okay.
Okay.
Either way, but thank you for joining us today, you guys. Have a great one.